Book summary: The Boys of Riverside, a deaf football team and a quest for glory, by Thomas Fuller. Thomas Fuller's The Boys of Riverside is a riveting and deeply moving nonfiction narrative that captures the extraordinary journey of the California School for the Deaf, Riverside, CSDR, and its high school football team, the Cubs. With a blend of heart, grit, and social commentary, Fuller shines a light on a group of deaf athletes who, through sheer perseverance and an unyielding sense of identity, redefined what it means to be champions, on and off the field. At the heart of the story is the 2021 and 2022 CSDR football teams, which rose from obscurity and adversity to national attention, not only because of their record-breaking season but because of the way they did it. With pride in their deaf culture and the full use of American Sign Language (ASL) as a tool of strategy, unity, and resistance against stereotypes. Through extensive interviews, vivid storytelling, and a journalist's eye for detail, Fuller builds a portrait not just of a sports team, but of a resilient community pushing against the margins of society. The setting and the stakes: CSDR is one of just a few state-run residential schools for deaf students in the United States. Founded in 1949, its football program had struggled for decades, only 9 winning seasons in its entire history before 2021. Students at CSDR are not only navigating typical teenage challenges but doing so within a broader society that often marginalizes or misunderstands them. Within this backdrop, Fuller introduces readers to a school that has long existed in the shadow of mainstream athletics, where deafness is often perceived as a barrier rather than a difference. The stakes are more than just football victories. This is about visibility, belonging, pride, and rewriting the narrative. The Cubs are not just trying to win games, they're trying to prove that deaf athletes can not only compete but excel on a national stage. In the process, they become role models and cultural ambassadors, bringing deaf culture into mainstream consciousness in a way rarely seen before. Coach Keith Adams, a visionary leader, central to the Cubs' transformation is Keith Adams, a deaf former athlete and the team's head coach. Adams brings discipline, optimism, and a visionary approach to the team, emphasizing that being deaf is not a limitation, it's a strength. His leadership style is rooted in empowerment. He encourages his players to embrace ASL not just as a means of communication but as a tactical advantage. Where hearing teams shout across the field, the Cubs communicate silently and clearly with ASL, making them both cohesive and elusive. Adams also fosters an intense sense of brotherhood. He pushes players to believe in themselves, to rise above past failures, and to own their identity. His presence as a deaf adult who has succeeded in both sport and life becomes an invaluable source of inspiration for the students, many of whom have never had such a role model. The 2021 season, a breakthrough, the 2021 season marks a dramatic turning point. With a starting lineup composed entirely of deaf players, the Cubs go undefeated during the regular season. Their use of ASL allows them to make swift decisions and adjust plays in real time, giving them a unique edge. Their precision and synchronicity on the field begin to attract attention from local media and then national outlets. However, the season doesn't end with a fairy tale finish. The Cubs make it to the championship game but are defeated by Faith Baptist 74-22. Despite the loss, the season is celebrated as a monumental success, both for its athletic achievement and for its symbolic power. For the first time, a deaf high school football team is being taken seriously, not as a novelty or a curiosity, but as a legitimate contender. The players, stories of grit and resilience. Fuller takes care to highlight individual players whose personal stories reflect the broader themes of perseverance and hope. One such player is Philip Castaneda, who faced homelessness during the season, sleeping in his father's car while showing up to practice and games with unwavering commitment. Another player, Alejandro Espinoza, plays through a broken leg, showcasing the kind of determination that defines the team's ethos. These personal narratives add emotional depth and nuance to the story, illustrating that the obstacles these players face extend far beyond the field. They are fighting against socioeconomic struggles, educational challenges, and the persistent underestimation of deaf individuals. Football becomes not only a sport but a sanctuary, a place where they can be seen, heard, in their own language, and celebrated. Deaf identity and cultural pride. Perhaps the most powerful undercurrent of the book is the celebration of deaf identity. Fuller gives rich context to the history of deaf education and the long struggle for recognition of ASL as a legitimate language. He outlines how many deaf children are mainstreamed in schools where they are isolated, their language suppressed, and their potential underestimated. In contrast, CSDR provides an environment where deafness is the norm, where students learn in ASL, and where cultural pride is nurtured. Fuller underscores the importance of this environment by showing how it directly impacts the team's success. The Cubs' fluency in ASL gives them not just tactical coordination but also emotional cohesion. They aren't simply a team, they are a family bound by a shared experience and a shared language. The book also challenges ableist assumptions that deafness is inherently a disadvantage. Fuller makes clear that the Cubs' success is not in spite of their deafness but, in many ways, because of it. Their communication, focus, and unity are assets honed through their lived experience. The 2022 season, redemption, determined not to let the 2021 defeat define them. The Cubs return in 2022 with renewed intensity. They dominate the regular season and once again advance to the championship. This time, they emerge victorious with a decisive 80-26 win. It is a historic moment, not just for CSDR, but for deaf athletics across the country. The Cubs become the first team in the school's history to win a state championship in football. This victory is not just about points on a scoreboard. It is a moment of validation, of representation, and of joy. The win reverberates throughout the deaf community and captures headlines nationwide. Celebrities and public figures celebrate the team's story. What began as a local underdog tale becomes a national sensation and a source of pride for millions. The broader impact. Fuller concludes the book by reflecting on the legacy of the Cubs and what their story means in a broader cultural and historical context. Their success challenges long-held assumptions about disability, education, and athleticism. It also offers a powerful counter-narrative to the way deaf individuals are often portrayed in media, as objects of pity or inspiration, but rarely as complex, powerful agents of their own stories. Through the Cubs, we see what happens when deaf youth are given the tools, the space, and the support to thrive. We see the importance of deaf-led institutions, the richness of ASL, and the immense value of community. Fuller argues that the team's success should not be viewed as an anomaly, but as a testament to what is possible when society invests in and values all its members. Conclusion: The Boys of Riverside is more than a sports story, it is a celebration of resilience, identity, and collective strength. With empathy and journalistic rigor, Thomas Fuller captures the essence of what made the Cubs' journey so compelling. It is a reminder that greatness can emerge from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes silence is the strongest voice of all. The book leaves readers inspired, informed, and changed. It calls for greater inclusion, deeper respect for deaf culture, and a broader understanding of what it means to communicate, to compete, and to win.